we have a new illustrator at Tailored Expressions. She is debuting this release with her super cute Max and Millie set. So Max is the cat and Millie is the mouse. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll show you here in just a second. But with orders of $35 or more, you guys will receive these super cute vinyl stickers. There's 2 sheets together, makes up one whole 8.5 by 11 piece. Let's see if I can get them all in there. So they say things like handmade with love, happy mail, and then they feature the different illustrations from the set just in a cute vinyl sticker form. So if you think, what am I supposed to do with vinyl stickers? Well, they are kind of gaining popularity these days. We've been doing them a lot as envelope seals, and also you can use them to decorate your envelopes like you see here. I put the happy mail and the cute little mouse on this one. You can also stick them on water bottles, laptops. They are weatherproof vinyl, so they're not going to kind of chip away like the paper stickers do. They're nice and sturdy, and they have a lot more uses. So they're super cute featuring these illustrations, and that's with $35 or more. And then if you get to $75, you'll get the stickers as well as this cute set. It's called Catitude, and it features, what is that, 9 different cat images and several sentiments. So it's cats doing different things. We've got a cat celebrating a birthday. We've got another birthday cat rolling on a ball of yarn, dancing, picking flowers with a little heart. So super cute. Oh, and there's one with a martini. So that's my kind of cat right there. This is free with 75 or more in addition to the stickers. And then if you guys haven't seen our free with $100 purchase, so every month we come up with a new set that's free with $100 or more. That is, hold please. Okay, here it is. So this is called Handmade Humor, and it has cute and funny sentiments that are appropriate for stamping on the back of your card. One of them says, let's see, I only make cards for really awesome people. Don't disappoint me. Nothing says I love you like a piece of paper folded in half. Why buy it for $7 when you can make it yourself with only $96 worth of supplies? Isn't that our motto as card makers? So this is some really cute sentiments that you can use either on a card front or on the back of your card, and that's free over $100. So with your purchase of $100 or more, you get all of these things this month. Or this week, I guess, because next week will be something new. Actually, before next week, we've got something new coming. So you'll want to tune in this weekend for a little something special. Okay, now I am going to turn this around. All right. It looks like, okay, I pushed my button, so now you guys should see the side of my head down at the bottom of your screen as I'm working here. I'm going to push this. This is going to be my demonstration today, but I'm going to push it out of the way just slightly so that I can show you the products before we get to the project part of things. All right, somebody asked, will we ever have dies to go with the Clearly Cat set? So that would be the Catitude set that I showed you. Hope is asking if we will have dies to go with those. Right now we do not. Would you like dies, Hope? I'm assuming that's why you're asking. So it's a possibility. I will look into that. We didn't do dies originally when we released that, and now we're giving it away as a freebie, so possibly we'll do those dies in the future. Okay, so I mentioned before that we have Max and Millie is our debut of our new illustrator. Her name is Gaia, and she goes by Much Sketch. If you can see at the bottom of our stamp sets, we put who illustrated that set down there. So if you're looking to follow her on Instagram, you can just search at Much Sketch and see her adorable creations. And she does custom work for us. So whatever I dream up, hey Gaia, I would like a cat and a mouse holding a heart and kind of standing close to each other, and she draws that. Or I'd like a cat in a flower pot with a flower sticking out of his head. So you won't often find these illustrations on her Instagram, but she's got tons of other cute stuff if you just want to check her out. And then also with the Max and Millie stamp set comes the coordinating dies to cut out all of those different images. So not the sentiments, just the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 images in that set with the 7 coordinating dies. If you caught my video on our blog yesterday, then you probably saw this. Sorry, I've got my, just realizing I have my cord in the way here. Let me try to get that out of the way for you guys. Okay, so if you caught the video on the blog yesterday, then you probably already saw this. I created this interactive card. The interactive element is hidden under this grassy area here. You can see it's popped up to fit that interactive element behind there. Maybe you can even kind of see it if I peel that back a little bit. So we've got our little mouse and cheese cart. When you pull this, it just travels across the front of the card and reveals that hidden sentiment that says, I'm here for you. So it kind of goes with the keep pushing on, you got this, and I'm here for you. So I thought that was super cute. I just love this little mouse with the cheese cart. And if you want to know exactly how to build this and what you need to do it yourself, you can check out yesterday's blog post with the link to the video, and all the supplies are listed there as well. Okay, Carol says dies with all sets. I totally get that. I hear you. Okay, then I have some other Cat, Max, and Millie inspiration from the design team. This one was created by Jill Hawkins. You can probably tell by her expert stitching that she includes on all of her projects. This one says, again, keep pushing on, you got this, with the cute mouse and the cheese cart. Oh, Laura says she's bad at coloring animals, but she had to have the cats. Would love any tips in upcoming videos. I can give you some tips for sure on coloring these. I love that they're small, so there's not a lot of room to mess up, actually. Sometimes I find larger images easier to shade and practice shading, but the smaller ones are easier if you just don't even want to bother with the shading, and you can just color it nicely in one layer. So this one was from Jill Hawkins. Jen Schultz featured the cat with the kind of side-eye glance. He's super cute and was designed to go with a sentiment that says meh, and I think he's perfect. She used the striped stencil here that she masked off on each end, so she only got that one chunk of stripe instead of a stripe across the whole card. I thought that was really cool too. And then Heather Nichols created this super cute shaker card. She used the sparkly stars shaker bits in there. I think we call them bits and pieces. And then if I just, there, now you can see the image a little bit better. But she colored up the cute cat and mouse at the birthday party and used the confetti toss stencil in a couple of different colors. Of course, her signature toffee and sugar cube made it onto this card. So lots of inspiration using Max and Millie. Now let's move on to a few other things here. So the next 3 products, I don't think I mentioned this yet, but this curated release for cat lovers is a total of 6 products. So totally manageable. Everything works well together. So not a lot of guesswork. You can mix and match to your heart's content. And there's not a ton of products that you have to worry about. Is that going to go with that? Or do I really need that? We gave you just everything that works perfectly together. So this one is called Whiskers, and it has cat sentiments in it, some that could work for dogs as well. This one is one of my favorites. It says, angels don't always have wings. Sometimes they have whiskers. Then cats are my favorite people. When all else fails, hug the cat. Cats leave paw prints on our hearts. And there's a 100% chance I'd rather be home with my cat. So that features then the trail of the paw prints that can go up the card in whatever direction you want. And then we also have our silhouette cats. So with the dogs, we actually had 3 separate sets. We had the large breeds, the small breeds, and the puppies. But with cats, we just stuck with 1 set of silhouettes in 3 different kind of typical cat poses, sitting and walking and then cleaning. So that is the silhouette cats die. And then we have, so far today, everybody's favorite, the Simple Strips Meow. So this coordinates with all of our previous Simple Strips products. So that'll be the regular Simple Strips die with the flagged ends and the well-rounded die that we released with the dog items will also fit that. So it features our innovative alignment system, so you can easily line those up and cut them all with one pass through the die cut machine. So there's a lot of cute sentiments in here. I'll read you just a few of them. Cats welcome, people tolerated. You had me at meow. There's a with heartfelt sympathy. I do whatever I want, which I think describes a lot of cats. Congrats, heard the good news. If you have somebody who got a new cat, that would be cute for them. Life is better with a cat. And from one cat mom to another. So lots of cute options there. I'll show you a couple of samples that the design team made. So if you caught today on the blog, Heather is up creating this card on a video. So she created her own stencil to stencil these silhouette cats into the background. And then you can see she stamped the paw prints from the Whiskers set 2 times in the background with the sugar cube ink. So if you're wondering how to create that one, you can check out the video on the blog. And then Jen Schultz created this cute party card. You can see here a couple of sentiments. She did a slimline card, so thin and long, and she did her blending dark to light and gave each of the cats a little party hat, which I thought was a super cute idea there. So then the sentiments she chose have to do with happy birthday and it's your day, let's potty. So I love that card too, and that long layout is really popular right now. So very cute from Jen and Heather. And then lastly, we've got one more set. Okay, here we go. So this one is called Loyal Friend, and it was designed to work for both cats and dogs. The idea is that it features this feather with the trailing paw prints. You can see that's all one image here. And there are several different things you can make with this, but the idea behind the 2 sentiments is that one was designed to go on the outside of the project and the other on the inside. So this one says, your wings were ready, our hearts were not, and that's the outside of the card. And then this one says, tender thoughts and sweet memories, so sorry for the loss of your loyal friend. So I have a couple of samples that I made, and this is actually going to be my demo for today, so we're going to get into that. But I know rainbows are a popular theme for doing pet sympathy cards, just because, you know, talk about crossing the rainbow bridge. That's a common sentiment when someone loses a pet. So the rainbow color combo, I decided to try it in several different ways. This top one is what I did on watercolor cardstock with our liquid watercolor, and that's what I'm going to show you here in just a couple of minutes. And then I did a couple of other ones that were maybe a little bit more in my wheelhouse. I'm not a huge watercolorist, but I had fun doing that one, and I wanted to show you guys the option. But these are simply ink blended on this one, so I ink blended using the rectangle masking stencil, and then white embossed the trail and the feather over the top with the sentiment just in regular black ink. And then this one, I used my mini ink cubes to ink the feather in a rainbow of colors, and then added the paw prints in the toffee ink coming up out of that feather. So several different ways you can incorporate rainbow into this stamp set, the Loyal Friend. All right, so okay, I've got some questions here I've got to answer. How do you get envelopes for the slimline cards? They are a number 10 business envelope, so you can usually find those at an office supply store like Staples or something like that. Let's see, what other questions did I miss? Some of you have said you ordered this morning and it's already shipped. That is true. Our shipping team is back working as hard as possible. They are amazing, I tell you what. Okay, I think the only other question I missed was someone asked about the Simple Strips holder. I have good news on that. It's coming. So I got a ship notice, which means that it is currently on the water and on its way to us, and we will just cross our fingers that everything goes as expected so that we can have those Simple Strips storage solution for you guys very soon. Okay, so I have here this time I brought in the mini media mat from Waffle Flower. The I think it was on last video, we did gels and pastes, and I featured the large one just for a little bit of extra space to work in. This is the smaller guy, and I do really like working with it as well. And I pre-embossed onto watercolor cardstock this image. So hopefully you can see that when I put it towards the light. You can see that white embossing powder on white cardstock is often hard to see. If you missed my video all about heat embossing, you can check that out. I think it was a Facebook Live as well. So it has all of my tips and tricks for getting a perfectly embossed image. So what we're going to do to achieve something like this is we are going to take our paintbrush. So I'm using a flat-ended paintbrush. Actually, I think when I did this one, I used this paintbrush, which is not a flat end. So you can kind of pick and choose. It doesn't really make a huge difference what kind of paintbrush for this particular technique. And then I have up here 2 jars of water. They're both clean right now, but one of them is going to end up being my clean water and one will be my dirty water. And then I have 4 different colors of liquid watercolor. So I have guava, lemon meringue, blue raspberry, and jelly donut. Now you'll notice in my sample here that I got lots of other colors in there. I got some beautiful green and I got some lovely orange here. So just start to think back to when we learned color theory and which colors are going to mesh together. So yellow and red makes orange. Yellow and blue makes green. So you don't necessarily need all of the watercolors to create a look like this. You just need to know how to make them work together. And that's what I'm going to show you here. Okay. Will there be a layering stencil for the cats like there was for the dogs? Well, it was my thought that you could use the puppy love stencil for either cats or dogs. So it's hard to differentiate between the 2 types of paw prints. I know there's slight differences, but even though it's called puppy love, I think you could definitely still use it for cats, and that was my intention when we designed that product. Okay, now I'm going to dip into my clean water. Now the important part is when you're first starting, we're only going to paint water where we want the watercolor to go. So the watercolor is not going to travel outside of the area where we've painted water. So I'm not going to paint water across my whole area here. I'm just going to give it a nice back and forth down here at the bottom and let those edges kind of determine themselves. So have a little bit of water here and just about kind of at the bottom third of that, I'm going to paint some clean water, and it's looking like my brush might have just a little bit of leftover color in it because it's not quite clear, but maybe that's good because then you guys can see it better. So I have a little bit of pooling of water in there. I'm going to take just 1 drop then of the liquid watercolor. It's pretty intense. And then I'm going to take my brush, dip it in there, get a little bit of that color on, and you can see when I place it down into that water that I painted on, it's just going to travel nicely across with a little bit of tap, tap, tapping. I can make it move kind of where I want it and let it find those edges that I painted. Now there are some pools of watercolor here, and that's okay. I don't want this to dry out completely, but I do want it to, oh geez, I almost dropped my paintbrush right on my project. I do want it to dry a little bit as I'm adding my next layer. So my tip for, actually okay, there's my dirty water. And now I'm going to dip back into my clean water and paint the next stripe up. Now my tip for this is you don't want to paint right up next to what you just painted because then that color is just going to keep seeping up that direction. So I'm going to start adding the yellow above where I added the red, just like this. And I'm kind of taking into account that I'm also going to combine the yellow with the blue in order to make green. So I'm painting up a little bit higher than I did with the last stripe because part of this stripe is going to end up turning green. So once I have that with the yellow, I'm going to grab 1 drop of the liquid watercolor, stick my brush in there, and again start to see that color moving through the water that I painted. And I'm just kind of tapping. And you can see how that moves. Now, I want that to get kind of close to each other down here. Now we're going to take, again, some of our clean water, and I'm going to tap clean water between the two areas so you can see those two colors are now running together. And that's how we're going to get our orange color. So if I can kind of mix those together, we can start seeing that orange come out. There it is, that pretty kind of coral orange color. Hopefully you guys can see that on the, I'll lift it up just a little bit higher, but right there where we meshed those two colors, we have the orange kind of showing up there. All right. Now, let's make sure I got this in my dirty water. Before I move on to the next strip, I want to kind of dry this bottom color so that it doesn't move too much farther on me. So hold please while I do that. I'm not going to dry up here because I do want my blue and my yellow to make some green. So I'm only going to dry down here, kind of reduce my chances of messing that part up. Okay, so it's not completely dry, but it's dry enough that it's not pooling anymore. I left some pooling up here at the top so we can continue with the next color. Will the color intensity lighten as it dries? Yes, it will. So if you do end up wanting a darker color, all you need to do is come back, wet it again, and add more of the liquid watercolor to it. And that is how you will darken it. You don't just keep adding color to wet paper. If your paper's wet, you're not going to get a more intense color until it's dry, and then you can add more color from there. Okay, so now I'm on with the blue, and again I'm leaving a space between the two until I'm ready for them to come together. Okay, so that area here that we've created is going to mesh together to give me some green, and then we're going to keep it blue towards the top. So I'm going to take my blue raspberry liquid watercolor, 1 drop of that. You can see this liquid watercolor goes really far. Okay, and then just a little bit of a tap into the color, and then we can spread that across the water that we've pooled onto the page. You can see the areas that I embossed are resisting the color. I want a little bit darker blue here, a little bit more. Okay, then I'll start bringing that down kind of towards the yellow. And then we're going to take our clean water and we're going to start bringing those two areas together. There's where that yellow comes up, and you can start to see that beautiful green that we're going to get. So we're doing this whole rainbow with just 4 colors of liquid watercolor. Now if I do end up wanting a more intense green, I can come back with, let's just say just a teensy bit of that yellow up here, and I can add that up here with the blue, and then you can see I get a little bit more intense green there. Okay, and then with liquid watercolor, one of the things you want, or with watercolor in general, one of the things you want to try to avoid is what's called, or what I call, found edges. So you can see on this project that's dry now, I have some nice melding of color here in these areas. Up here at the top, I allowed it to get a little bit too dry before I added my purple, and so you can really see that line of where I stopped. You can fix that. I didn't want to mess it up, and I didn't think it was horrible, so I left it. But if you have a found edge like that, you can fix it by putting some clear water over the top and hopefully drawing those two areas together a little bit better. So I'm trying to avoid that with this particular project. So we're going to take our clean water then, and I am going to paint my last strip across the top. Now this is the strip that we're going to color with purple, and I will caution you that purple does not play well with others. So a lot of times you're going to get kind of a mud color if purple gets mixed with too many other colors. Here, if we do this right, I'm going to get a nice kind of darker bluish purple color, but I do want to dry some of this up so that I can avoid getting these pools of color here that are kind of forming. So actually, now that I've painted my water across the top, I'm actually going to go ahead and heat just a little bit, and I'm going to try to move this over just a little bit so it doesn't look quite so intense there down by the red. All right, hold please while I do a little bit of drying. All right, I left some of that pooled water at the top again so that we don't have too much of a found edge there, and we can combine it with the purple here. So I've got my purple already out on my media mat. Just take a little drip of that and we will tap that down. Purple is super intense, this color. So one little tap into the color and we've got pretty much all we need to get all the way across. I might want a little bit of extra water in here to get some of that dark purple out of there. It's all just about playing with it, and no two are ever going to look the same, which is a wonderful part of watercolor. It's kind of freeing in that way. All right, so then I'm going to take, like we talked about, take some clean water, and now we're going to move these two, whoop, I got a lot there. We're going to move these two colors together. There you can see how they're kind of meshing. We're going to get a little bit of a darker, kind of a navy-ish blue. And if I want to add just a little more touch of purple, I can do that in with the blue. You do want to avoid that water escaping the areas, so I'm trying not to put too much water on my paper or it's just going to run off and create, you know, a not very nice looking blob on the side of my paper. I want to keep it contained within this area. So I think I'm liking how that's turned out. What do you guys think? Okay, I am going to stop now because sometimes you just have to tell yourself, okay, be done, right? Okay, Hope said you finally found Dr. Pepper with cream soda. Awesome, you drank it on my birthday. So nice. Okay, I am going to heat one more time, see if we can get rid of the rest of these pools of water, and then I'll be right back. All right, so that is mostly dry. I'm not sure I would stamp on it yet. I'm gonna let it dry a little bit more, but that's good enough for our purposes for this video. I will, I forgot my paper towels today, but after this video, I will take a paper towel, slightly damp on one corner, and just wipe over the top of those embossed images to get off some of that excess color that stained the top. And then you can see it's gonna pop out quite a bit better on the second round. Now my first try, you can see I got a little bit darker color down here starting with the red, so I could always go back and add more. This one ended up with a more pastel rainbow look than this one, which I then die cut with our stitched rectangle stacklet and then just stamped the sentiment over the top with the Oreo ink. All right, what do you think? Good? Could you dab water off with a towel, Louise says. you can. However, whenever you touch your paper, like with a towel, it's gonna suck up all the color that you've put down. So you'll find if you wanna get rid of color, a really good way to do that is to pat it with a paper towel, and that's gonna pull the color out of that you've laid down. So that's why I didn't tap on or pat this with a paper towel, because it would have taken a lot of that color that I added out. I wanted to keep the color on the paper, which is why I just took my heat gun and heated it to dry it. Okay, I make it look so easy. Oh, thank you, Beth. I had to do a practice run because, like I said, watercolor isn't something that I work with a ton. I do love it. And I'm sure it's as with anything, you get better with practice, but I am certainly more comfortable with my Copics and my Gamsol and my blending and inking than I am with watercolor. But I think I wanted to show several different looks that you can get with this one idea of using rainbow with the feather and the paws. Alrighty, I'm gonna turn you guys around one more time here. Okay, everybody's seeing me now, I think. A couple things that I didn't get mentioned at the beginning. So it was my birthday last week, and I just wanted to say a huge thank you. My birthday was on Friday, and so many of you showered me with wonderful messages on our Facebook fan page, and I got lots of nice emails and lots of posts on my Facebook wall. So thank you. I felt very loved, and I did have a great birthday. So I actually took the afternoon off, and I did a little bit of what I wanted to do, which is very rare, that I don't have a child tagging along with me or other things to accomplish. So I went to my favorite cupcake shop, and I bought a new pair of shoes at DSW, which I am wearing today. So it was a good day. And also, I have been wanting to show you guys, I'm gonna post this on our fan page, but because I think everybody in the world needs to see this, my husband and kids surprised me with rainbow roses. So these are, like, I'm talking one rose with all the colors of the rainbow in that one rose. Not like he bought me red roses and orange roses and yellow roses. It's all in one rose. So I got a dozen rainbow roses, and they have been brightening my days since last week. So anyway, I think everybody needs to have rainbow roses in their life. So if you want to see them, check out the fan page. I will post a picture of those later. I also have not yet announced the winners of the cards. So last week I did glimmer pastes and gels on Thursday, and I drew 3 winners. I have already messaged you. So if you have an inbox message from me in Facebook, then you can respond with your address and I will get those sent out. So I have Audrey Evers, Judy Brecky. I'm sorry, Judy, that I don't know. I know you, but I don't know how to say your last name. I don't know if it's Breck or Brecky. So Judy and Beth Smith. So those are my 3 winners of the glitter paste cards. And if you would like to receive one of my pet cards, perhaps you've lost a pet recently, which I would love to send a card to you if that's the case. If not, I would also love to send a card and you can pass it on to someone else because, you know, like I said, the pets are like our kids, and I know it's a sad time when you lose one. So I'd love to send a card. If you have lost a pet, leave a comment that you would love to receive one, or if you haven't, that's fine too. I will send you a card and you can share the joy by passing it along. So, all right, let's see one more time if I've got any more comments since I stopped scrolling. Oh, Hope says she's good at making mud with the watercolor. Well, you know, we all have to be good at something, so I think that's perfect. Hopefully with a little practice you can get better and not make so much mud. So I don't think I had any more questions, so just leave your comment. And if you're replay watching this, feel free to leave a comment as well. I do take those into account. So thank you guys for tuning in today, and I will see you back here on Thursday for a little sneak peek of what we have going on this weekend. And I'll be talking about something else. I have a few ideas in mind, so I'm not going to say exactly what it is until I make the decision, probably, Thursday morning, as any good procrastinator should. So anyway, thank you guys. Glad you joined me today, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.